Hey, welcome to episode 12 of DIY Mixers Crew. How y'all doing today? Today we're going to talk a little bit about Vapor's Tongue with folk art. We're going to do a little mixing today. We're going to mix up a nice little pumpkin for you guys at the end of the show from Mike. He likes it. He threw out a pumpkin recipe for you guys. We're going to cover a little bit about some of the new Wonder Flavor Super Concentrates that are out on the market. I'm going to talk a little bit about the magnetic mixer that I got from Nightcore. I posted a little video earlier on the week. I put it through its paces a little bit this week. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I will do a full review eventually, but I was just putting it through a little bit of paces. Make sure you guys check out Liquid Barn at www.liquidbarn.com. Use the code MIXERSCREW and get 15% off your total order. Also, Bull City Vapes, DMC6, and get 6% off your total order for lightning fast shipping. Check them guys out. So today, Folk Art released a recipe. He's been suffering some Vapor's Tongue this week, which is ironic because I get it once in a while. If I'm vaping on a recipe for too long, I kind of get it myself. I have my way of doing it. But Folk Art developed a recipe for him that kind of is formulated, I guess, to his palate to help him rid that Vapor's Tongue. So he's going to go ahead and talk about that for a little bit. So how you doing? We're real quick, though. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, man.
Just great.
Good, yeah. Awesome. So you got Vapor's Tongue this week, huh, folk?
I've had it for about a week and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's I don't know what I've been testing a lot of flavors, a lot of the Wonder Flavors line, and I can't taste shit. I drink a lot of water. I've tried to take a little vacation here and there, but just can't seem to get rid of it. So what I did was I jumped in the Discord and asked some of the mixers in there what they do to help with Vapor's Tongue. And I got a lot of different suggestions. One was, switching up your juices just a little bit. Maybe vape a fruity vape instead of a cream-based vape for a while. Another was kind of bombard your palate with like high menthol and like lemony type vapes to try to reset your palate just a little bit. And so I kind of took all that and I decided to come up with a recipe that hopefully would help with my Vapor's Tongue. And so I come up with this one. Let me bring it up right quick. It's called Palate Reset. Horrible name, I know. But anyway, so this recipe is I was wanting to make a sorbet type of vape. A lot of the kind of high-end restaurants, when they serve these 5 and 7 course meals, between those different entrees and things, they will try to cleanse the palate with a sorbet, a tangy type sorbet. And so that's where I got the idea. So this recipe is a pretty simple one. Let me see if I can scroll down here.
Yeah, I noticed that the flavorings that you had in there.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
I didn't get a chance to mix it up yet, but
yeah. So I used 5% FE lemon. I love FE lemon. That's Flavor Express. It's got a very nice, fresh, lemony taste, and it doesn't have a lot of that lemon zest in it that's kind of bitter. So I use it quite a bit in some of my recipes. And I wanted to use a minty or a menthol kind of flavor to it. So I used cap peppermint at 2%, which if you like menthol type vapes, I think that's one of the better flavorings that you can use to get that sensation of coolness instead of using culotta or a straight up menthol. It's got a nice, refreshing, crisp kind of flavor to it. And I also used vanilla bean ice cream to kind of mimic that. Well, a sorbet is not an ice cream. It's like a frozen fruit dessert-like thing. But instead of using just fruits and putting menthol in it, I thought it'd be a good idea to put some vanilla bean ice cream in there to kind of smooth out, even out the sharp peppermint and the sharp lemon. So it seems to work okay. I can take a couple vapes of the palate reset and then take a draw off of, say, my sweet potato pie, and I can taste it better, but it doesn't last very long. So you know, I'm hoping that other mixers will mix this recipe up and give me their feedback on it to see if it helps them. It was kind of an experiment that I threw out there, so we will see. We will see. But yeah, I've had Vapor's Tongue for about a week and a half, and it's really tough to do mixing when you can't taste shit.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, like I said, I get it once in a while. I tried different things: brushing the teeth, drinking coffee, vaping different juices, and I find out when I do get Vapor Tongue, and what's odd, like for me personally, I experience from it is when I'm doing recipe development, it throws my palate off to the point where if I have Vapor's Tongue, like pretty bad, and when I'm developing a recipe, it throws it off like pretty bad for me, and it doesn't really come together the way I want it. And sometimes those are the recipes that I just shelve and I don't try for a couple weeks or a month. And then I go back to them and I'm like, well, wow, this really worked out. And then I go back and I look back and I'm thinking, you know what? It's probably because I had that Vapor's Tongue that I really wasn't getting what I was trying to represent in this recipe development that I was doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's tough for people that are doing flavor testing like folk art, or it's tough for people that are doing recipe development. When you have Vapor's Tongue, it's like it's like you hit a wall. I mean, it's just like having that block when you're doing recipe development where you can't get inspiration from somewhere. Vapor Tongue really puts things to a halt. But I've tried a lot of things, and it's funny, but for me, and I've mentioned this to folk art, I eat a salad. I put a lot of Italian dressing on a salad. And I eat it before a meal. And I think that maybe the vinegar or the acid in the vinegar might neutralize the whatever's on my palate. Like it neutralizes everything and it kind of resets it for me a little bit. And the flavors come back a little bit more vivid after I eat. And I'm like, wow, that did the trick for me. There was a couple guys that mentioned that they use just a plain VG, PG solution with nicotine and vape that plain. And a lot of like new mixers out there for you guys that are just starting mixing. Actually, vegetable glycerin does have a inherent sweetness to it. So, I mean, it's not like it's just you're going to be vaping like water. I mean, you do get some sort of sweetness from it. If you do need that nicotine intake and you're not getting any flavors or off flavors from your juice, you can always try that. I've done that. I'll vape just like a plain VG PG mix with some nic thrown in there for like a couple hours or a day to kind of reset my palate. That helps sometimes.
Yeah,
what do you?
There was one where there's somebody talking in the chat here about using coffee, and there was quite a bit that I found while I was doing my research where, like wine tasters will try to inhale coffee beans or something like that. So I got my own little coffee bean bag here that I keep at my desk now. Try to smell it. I don't know if it helps or not, but they say that it does. And I brought up a
Steve. It has sorry, Steve. For it to work, it has to be green beans. They and not smashed.
Oh.
They have to be whole beans and they have to be green.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Lewis, I've got this web page up here. Vapor's Tongue, what is it, what causes it, and how to cure it. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was going to talk. First, I was going to talk a little bit about my own experience.
Okay.
And I was making some math, and in 10 days it makes 3 years that I start vaping and I stopped smoking. It's a great milestone for me. So, but I was going to say that in these 3 years, I didn't have a big experience of vapor styling, fortunately for me. It may be because I always drink a lot of water during the day. Always drink a lot of water, and because I always switch flavors. I always have next to me two or three tanks, and I'm constantly changing. I'm not only always vaping the same thing. I'm constantly changing the vape that I do. And one of the tanks always has to be a mouth to lung tank.
Mm-hmm.
I don't vape tobaccos, but I like very much my mouth to lung vape. I don't know it's because of that, but those two things I think they are important. Another thing that I think that's very important is the sense of smell. The sense of smell is very important in your feel of the juice. So to keep your sense of smell intact, you have like I told you, one of the ways is to smell whole coffee beans, whole green coffee beans, not burnt.
Mm-hmm.
And in that article that you were showing, I think it's a very nice article. We can afterwards put the link on the comments of the video.
Yeah, I threw the link in the chat there so people can check it out.
Well, I don't know. No, I was going to say, Lewis, I don't know. As far as Portugal, I don't know if there's a lot of different. I mean, granted, we have a shit ton of varieties of coffee in the United States, but
we do too.
Well, that's the thing, though. I'm not a coffee connoisseur. I'm kind of like a Maxwell House or whatever the hell's on sale at the grocery store. I'll buy, but. I really don't. I've never came across green coffee beans in the of the U.S. Have you, folk art, the green?
No, I don't. I can't recall. I mean, there's plenty of places where you can buy.
I don't know how it is. I don't know if this happens in the States. Mm-hmm. Here in Portugal, whenever you go into a perfume shop. Mm-hmm. They always have a bag full of green coffee beans. So after you smell 2 or 3 perfumes, you can reset the sense of smell.
Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, I'm sure that's something.
Okay, I have to be honest. I never came across where you can buy those green coffee beans.
Okay.
But as I told you, in every perfume shop here, you have a bag of green coffee beans. So after you smell 2 or 3 or 4 perfumes, you can smell those coffee beans and reset your sense of smell.
Well, you know what, though? I mean, that's the thing, too. You could probably, I'm sure if you go on Amazon or somewhere, you could probably source them somewhere. But if like you said, if high-end perfume shops in Portugal are using coffee beans to set your olfactory.
No, not high end. All of them.
Oh, well, that's what.
All of them. Even the ones that are big and sell discount perfumes. Mm-hmm. All of them they have.
Well, that must really work then. That might be something that we can research.
It does. It does.
Absolutely. One other thing that I think it was Fear in Discord was telling me about is that if he uses a very low wattage on all of his devices. I think he said like 20 to 30 watts, and he also just uses Kanthal, just a simple Kanthal wire, and he says he never gets Vapor's Tongue. The idea is that if you
Can you see the?
Yes.
yeah. And so,
I was showing the wattage that I was vaping with.
Yes. I
Yeah.
can see it. Yeah.
22.5.
yeah, and so the idea
But
is
this is a Motolang.
yeah, and so the idea is that these kind of complex coils that has all these grooves and everything in it holds more juice, and you're getting like a lot more of the
Flavor.
aroma in. And with the simple ones, you're not getting as much, and at the low wattages, you're not getting bombarded with it as well. So that there may be something to that, but with most of my devices that I use, if I'm not vaping at around 40 watts, I'm not getting much flavor either. So I don't know. It's something to explore.
Well,
At this watches, you have to do Motolang.
Well, that goes back to that goes back to it's funny that you said that, Folkart. Like, I think it was yesterday. I'm so busy right now at this time of the year for myself, so it's hard for me to do anything. So one of the things that I do neglect is like my coils. It's probably been almost a month since I changed my coils. So I finally broke down. I had some alien wire laying around. I'm like, you know what? Piss on it. I'm just going to throw these in because they were actually pre-made already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw them in. I vaped on it for about probably 5 or 6 chuffs. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done with them. I went back to my regular build. And like you said, it varies depending on your build, what type of wire. And I think Fear made a good point. In a lot of recipes that I've noticed, and we've talked about this stuff offline before, on a personal level, like when we discuss stuff offline, I notice subtle differences, especially in recipes. Like creams. Take creams for instance. When I'm vaping like a strawberries and cream, we'll use that for an instance. If I vary the wattage or the volts in a build when I'm vaping it, I pick out subtle differences in the concentrates or whatever in a recipe. Like if I'm using like a lower wattage volts in a strawberries and cream, I can pick out the creams more dominant in a recipe when I'm running it at a lower volts or wattage. And the reason why I say volts, guys, is because a lot of people tend to, in a community, they say, I vape at 60 watts. Well, that's fine. You can vape at 60 watts, but it depends on what type of build that you're using, or ohms, I should say. So if you're vaping on a 0.15 or a 0.2 or a 0.3, you can vape it at any friggin' watt that you want. It's all about the volts that you're putting into those coils. I tend to stay at a 4.2 volt on a 0.3 build. But like I said, the lower I go on say a 0.3 coil, regular Canthal, 4.2 volts, I pick out those cream notes in that recipe. If I'm vaping it, say at like a 3 volt or two, lower down, like maybe like a 30 watts or 40 watts. But the higher I go, those creams kind of go away, like they get burnt off, you would say, and then I get more of the strawberries and fruits and stuff like that in it. So it varies on build to build. But getting back to the Vapor's Tongue, that's another thing too. Like I notice, like if I'm eating something that's like super hot, like soup, and like sometimes you accidentally burn your palate, like you burn your mouth. Mm-hmm. That kind of screws up my palate also. So I mean, and like Lewis said, it's all about the nose. You get those flavors through your nose. So that's one of the things you want to do when you're flavor testing and stuff like that. You always want to exhale through that nose and kind of like your coffee tasting to get those flavors on your palate. You taste that through your olfactory senses in your nose.
Yeah.
But that article, I didn't get a chance to read it, but hopefully I'll get a chance to check that out. And because I do get it from time to time, especially if I'm vaping on the same recipe, my palate gets used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I'm so used to vaping on my custard constantly. I decided, you know what the hell? I'm going to mix up a strawberry. And I tended to go to my usual strawberry that I go to, which is, depending on what it is, just say Capella Sweet Strawberry. I'll use it like 6 or 7% or whatever in a recipe. And it was so strong. I'm like, holy shit. It's because I haven't eaten strawberry,
Yeah.
you know, in so long. But, you know, other than that, I mean, you know, whatever works for you guys. I'm going to have to try that out, though. That mint recipe that you guys did.
Yeah, it's
there is. Sorry, Steve. Just a little point. There is something else that ruins my palate too. It's when I eat hot spices. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like peppers that are hot. That ruins my palate too. That's why whenever I'm in recipe development, I tend to make all my tests in the morning before lunch, so that my palate is as fresh as it can be.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I seen ID10T pop in real quick earlier in the chat. My nephew, he friggin' loves your pickle juice. I'm actually vaping on his apple cookie right now. It's really good. I really enjoy it. Check it out if you guys. Oh, he's still there. Okay, he's still here. But yeah, Mr. Bell. I always call him Mr. Bell as I jack him off. But I tell you what, he came over today. He had to pick up some juice, and I said, "Dude, you got to try this pickle." He goes, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, dude." I said, "Try this pickle out." I said, "Tell me if it tastes like a pickle." I didn't even clean out my RDA from last week to where I used it. I still had the same cotton in it. He throws it on his device. He started vaping. I'm like, well, Jesus Christ. I said, let me at least get the pickle juice and drip it on there for you so you can taste it. So he's vaping on it. He's like, it tastes just like a fucking pickle. I said, yeah. I said, that's the point. So he really enjoyed it. He was vaping the shit out. I actually think he fucking stole it and took it home with him. I gave him juice, and like I can't find it anywhere. So I think he stole it off my picnic table. So that's gone. But I'm vaping on the apple, the cookie, and it really steeped out really nice, and I'm enjoying it. Really good recipe.
Awesome.
But speaking of things, anything you guys want to cover before I get into something else?
Well, I got in the new Wonder Flavors super concentrates, all of them.
Awesome.
I can talk about that a little bit. There's about
Go for it.
There's about 23 that I didn't. I've got the entire Wonder Flavors line, but there were 23 of the new ones that I didn't have, so I just ordered all of them. And they're pretty good, actually, I think. I mean, I haven't flavor tested, but I have smelled them and back of the hand kind of taste. But there's a couple of them that I'm really excited about. This one is one of them. It's called Crispy Wafer. So this one tastes like one of those vanilla wafer type cookies. I've got a link here to, if I can find it. Here we go. No, that's not it. Where is it? Give me just a second. Okay, so it tastes like those vanilla wafers that you buy. These are called Manor or Manor. I don't know how you pronounce it there. But it really has a really nice, almost like a waffle cone kind of smell to it, with like a Bavarian cream. Really nice, really nice. But you can really smell that waffle cone in there. So that might be a good one to pick up if y'all are interested. This other one is a buttercream frosting. I'm pretty excited about this one too. Buttercream, or it's my
that's the one I'm interested. I'm interested in that one because I didn't get those in yet. And And I am a huge fan of Capella's buttercream because I used to use like Capella's just butter. And I think that when they came out with the buttercream, it kind of like changed the game a little bit as far as like that butter and cream aspect. I really love that flavor, and I want to see how it compares to Capella's buttercream.
Yeah, it really smells good. Now, back to that first one that I was talking about, the crispy wafer. I did taste it, and it is very sweet. So I don't know if that's going to be a detriment or not, but it's really sweet. This buttercream frosting, it tastes just like it says on the label. Buttercream frosting. It tastes like a frosting. Really good, really good. This other one, let's see. This is Grenadine.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Grenadine.
Yeah, so it's like fruit. Yeah, it's like a pomegranate kind of a syrup, and it really smells good. It smells just like a pomegranate. I thought about actually using it with I don't know if this will work out or not, but kind of use it with a grape flavor, maybe to get a grape jelly. I don't know. Let's see, because it does smell kind of syrupy. Here's a black cherry jelly bean, and if I don't know if y'all guys out there know this, but I've been searching for a good cherry flavor for a really long time, and they just don't make any. But this, I don't know. This might be a game changer here. It smells just like a cherry jelly bean. Let's see. Here's tangerine. Now, I've used this in one of my newer recipes that I can't focus that. There we go. Tangerine. I've used this in a recipe that I'm trying to develop now. It's got a really nice flavor to it. I'm trying to make an orange cream, and that seems to work really well. Let's see. Here's ripe gala melon. Ripe gala melon. There's just a ripe Gallia melon. It's a focus in there.
Maybe that's a kind of melon.
Yeah, it's a hybrid of a honeydew and a cantaloupe. But it really smells really nice too. It almost has a watermelon type, like a sour watermelon kind of smell to it. I don't know if it's sour to the taste or not. But there's that one, and there's oats and cream. Right here's a good one that I'm wanting to try out too. Oats and cream. So I imagine oats and cream cookie. I would imagine that this would be good with like one of those oatmeal cookie sandwiches or something like that. It's got, I don't know. It's got a little bit of a dirty sock smell to it, like a cheesecake almost. But yeah. I don't know about that one. Here's one that I'm pretty excited about. This white chocolate fudge. It really smells good.
Speaking of chocolate, my flavor testing has been lacking lately because I've been so busy outside of mixing and stuff like that. But the chocolate chunks from Wonder Flavors, have you ever flavor tested that yet?
Yes, I have.
What are your thoughts on that, real quick, if you don't mind me asking?
I can bring out my notes, but as I recall, I really wasn't that impressed with it. It was pretty musty on the flavor test. Yeah, I got some chocolate, and I think it was, if I recall, I put in my notes that it might be really good in a chocolate cake, not just a straight up chocolate, because it has a little bit of a chocolate cake texture to it.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe like for a red velvet cake even.
Okay.
Something like that. But it was kind of musty. I don't think that was the super concentrate though.
Okay. Yeah, the only reason why I asked is because I did a smell test on it last night, and I kind of got like, I mean, it's just a smell test. I didn't flavor test it yet,
Yeah.
but I got like kind of a liqueur type smell from it. But I shook it up a little bit more. I kind of got like almost like a Hershey's syrup, but I guess that's not accurate. Like
I can look it up here.
no,
Won't
no,
take
no.
just a second.
I just wanted to get some quick thoughts on it. I was just talking to a fellow mixer about some chocolates last night, and that was one of the flavors that I didn't flavor test.
Okay,
Was the
here's my notes on it. I mix it up at 6%. I had it confused with another chocolate. This was not one that I suggested using with a chocolate cake. It's a dry chocolate. It's got kind of a minimal sweetness to it, a little plastic off note.
Okay.
You may want to mix it around 4% instead of 6.
Okay.
But I only gave it 2 stars, so it must not have been too good. But now that's just my palate.
Well, no, because when I did my initial smell test on it was I did get like a dry, powdery, almost like if you was to open up a package of like Swiss mix, hot cocoa mix,
Yeah.
kind of like that was in my face, but I kind of like shook it up a little bit more, and I got that kind of liqueur. Maybe I just didn't have it shaken well enough, but that kind of is what I got, like a dryness, like a dry, like cocoa powder flavor to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But guys, check out the new Wonder Flavors Super Concentrate line. They've got. I think that they've got some winners in there. So check them out. Oh, and I've heard a lot of people complain about, and I've done the same complaining, is that the Wonder Flavors, if you buy from them, they're going to come in those horrible bottles with the rubber around the top of them with no drippers or anything. If you go to gremlindiy.com, they have the entire line of Wonder Flavors, and when you get them, they're in these bottles already.
Oh, sweet.
So,
Sweet.
and they're actually cheaper than buying them straight from Wonder Flavors because they buy in bulk and then they rebottle it. And,
yeah, I think that's one. I think that, like, for us in the U.S., I think that Frank actually wants a lot of people in the U.S. to buy them from his resellers because when I spoke to him, he was telling me that they do keep the 30 mil samples or whatever they send them out in, or 1 ounce. So that's like almost a 30 mil. It's 29.57. So it's a 30 mil. They do have some up there, but he would rather, like, people in the U.S. Order from his vendors.
Yeah,
from what I remember.
Yeah, and don't quote me on this, but I did see a thread that somebody posted that that Bull City Flavors are going to start selling all of Wonder Flavor stuff.
I think that was Frank. Yeah, that came straight from Frank.
Yeah. So look for that. I don't think it's a completely done deal, but they should be there pretty soon. But if nothing else, go to gremlindiy.com, and they've got every one, the whole line, complete line. Really good people. Oh, and they sent me 2 freebies too, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, did they? Sweet.
Yeah, and some of the flavors that I ordered, well, all of them I ordered 10 meals, and some of them were 15 when they sent them. So that was nice of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So big shout out to Gremlin.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
You have a website for them, guys? You can.
Yeah, I can throw it up there.
Post it in the chat or post it in the whatever.
Yeah.
It could be on Facebook or whatever. We could talk about that. Real quick, guys. If you guys got any questions, make sure if you guys are in the chat, you put at DIY Mixers Crew. That way we know you're talking to us. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We always have some, content unscripted every week for you guys. We try to do the best we can. Make sure you check out our Facebook page and our Discord. We're always in and out of Discord. So that's another thing I'm going to talk briefly about before we move on. I guess I can get back on camera for like a second here. That's one of the things that we've been talking about as a group in the last couple weeks. We want to try to keep it fresh for you guys every week. So we're going to try to incorporate some newer mixer content for you guys. We're going to try to do some some Facebook Live videos, like shorts for you guys. That's one of the things that I'm going to be talking about here in a few minutes. Is I picked up the Nitecore magnetic mixer last week. I did a kind of a short on YouTube, like of an unboxing and stuff like that. We'll get into that later. But we're going to try to put out some more content for you guys, like some beginner mixing stuff, single flavor testings. We're going to throw some videos up on Facebook Live or YouTube. So make sure you guys check out the Facebook page. Make sure you check out, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also you can always check us out on Discord. If I'm not in there, either Lewis or Daddy Kane, he's not here today, but either Daddy Kane 91's in there, Russell or Folk Art is either popping in and out of the Discord all day. So if you guys have any questions, if you can't reach us on Facebook, you can always check out the Discord link. Check us out in there because we're always chatting up stuff about flavors and whatever we decide to, throw out or whatever we're working on for that day. Yeah. But real quick, moving on, I guess we're going to go into what I purchased. I'm not. If you guys want to check out like the unboxing and stuff like that, I may or may not use it today with this recipe. We're getting close on time. We got about another 22 minutes before we check out of here. But I did pick up the Nitecore mixer recently. Last week, actually, it came in. I ordered it from imrbatteries.com, I believe it was. So if you guys decide to order from them, do not get the goddamn FedEx 2-day shipping on a Friday or Thursday because them assholes don't deliver on weekends. Kind of pissed me off. I paid the extra shipping, and I didn't get that shit until 4 days later, which kind of pissed me off. I sent an email to IMR directly, and I said, what the hell? Why did I pay this extra shipping if I'm going to get it in 4 or 5 days? But I get it. That's out of their control once it leaves their facility. But their customer service was excellent, even though I was kind of irate. They responded quickly, and they told me, FedEx is FedEx. There's kind of nothing we could do about that. So if you guys want it in 2 days and you order it on a Thursday, do not use FedEx 2-day air. Try USPS maybe or UPS 2-day. But FedEx doesn't deliver on weekends. But anyhow, getting to the Nitecore mixer. Like I said, if you guys want to check it out, I know I tried to do Facebook Live, but I was having problems with OBS last week. So me and Folk Art got together. We kind of threw it up on YouTube. You can check out the unboxing that I did last week. So for those of you guys, I'm actually looking for my here it is, my Nitecore charger. Can you guys hear me okay on the mic? I know I'm kind of away from the mic right now.
Oh, yes.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. So basically, if for you guys out there in the community know Nitecore, they do make some kick-ass chargers. When I first started mixing, not mixing, vaping, I kind of got this. This is kind of old school. It's probably one of their first models, maybe. I don't even know. But it's just a 2-bay charger that I got from Nitecore a few years ago. They make excellent chargers. I do actually use the eFest one right now, but that's one of the comments that I had made the other day on the YouTube video that I did. I think it was Monday. For you guys, for the newer mods that are using the 2700s, especially the iJoy, but they're a little bit bigger than the 18650. You know what I mean? They do fit in the eFest charger, but that's one of the things that I wanted to give a kudos out to Nitecore for their charger. Like I said, this is an older model, but you really have to shoehorn those in the eFest charger. But the Nitecore, the 2700s, they fit like really, really, really good in and out. Not a problem. They fit really good in the Nitecore chargers. So for you guys that are using the 2700 batteries, I think the Nitecore charger, they fit a little bit better, and so you can charge your batteries of the batteries. But anyhow, getting back to the Nitecore, I'm just going to briefly go through it. It comes with two stirrers, two magnetic stirrers. One's like a football, another one's a pill. This is just a football one. Now, this is what kind of like threw me off, like doing the testing. I did a little bit more research on it. They say that this is the magnetic stirrer retriever It's the post, which I think is kind of like, okay, yeah, well, how the fuck am I gonna? I don't have needle fingers, so how am I gonna get this out of like a bottle or whatever? I've seen YouTube reviews
with another. You can.
Well, that's
Dave,
what I
you
did.
can take it out of the bottle using another magnet.
Correct. Now you can go on Amazon and you can buy an actually magnetic stir retrieval rod, which I'm probably going to end up purchasing, because I kind of like rigged it up to where I have some old 20 gauge Canthal that I don't use, and I just kind of wrap it around this longer stir bar, I guess you want to call it, or magnet retrieval, and you can like fish it out that way. But like this is pointless. I mean, if you're going to start with it, that's fine. I'm probably that's the like so far the only things that I can say about it is that they could, for the $120 price tag. So far, I think that they probably could have gave you a little bit more of the magnetic stirrer bars, different sizes. Because I mean, I'm probably going to go on like Amazon or eBay or whatever, wherever you choose to go. If you decide that if you have this machine, I was actually going to go on Amazon and purchase the different sizes for like $8 or $9. And I felt that, you know what, if they're that cheap, I felt that maybe Nightcore. But then again, like the capabilities of this machine, they might not work as well. I'm going to purchase those, and I'm going to find out if they do work well with this machine. But you could buy like a 5 or 6 variety pack of stir bars for like $8 or $9 on Amazon. So you can use it in different situations, like if you're using a bigger glass or whatever, you know what I mean? Different stir bars for it. Hot plate works nice so far. User friendly, a little bit difficult. I don't understand why they have the time function on there so far. I get it. I mean, it's a feature if you guys want to use it. Like, in other words, it has 3 presets, 1, 2, 3. So if you want to do like a setting to where like it'll automatically turn on like a coffee maker, if you have a coffee maker where it automatically brews something for you. Kind of the same thing with this. If you want to do like a auto turn on, you can set like a timer. And if you're at work and you're mixing up a batch of something and you want it to magnetically stir when you're away, it'll automatically turn on. The only thing that I can think that wouldn't be good is, me personally, is if I'm mixing a juice, if that magnet's not centered right when you're stirring and it sits to one side, it's not going to stir. So if it turns on when you're not around and it's sitting to the side, it's not going to spin. So that's kind of pointless. Another thing is, if you're using a hot plate function and you're not around, me personally, I'm not going to leave my house with a hot plate turned on in the house. You never know. You know what I mean? If you're away from it, something might happen where it might overheat, catch fire. Me personally, I don't understand why they put that function on there. But it does do what it says it does. It mixes it up at decent velocities. It has different functions. Like I said, I'm not going to get too involved in this today. I will give my thorough review probably in another 2 weeks, put it through its paces. But it does go through 0 to 1,200 revolutions per minute. You can adjust that. It has a heat plate. It goes up to 100 degrees Celsius, 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. It has the 3 presets for timing. You can adjust everything. So far, it's doing what it says. I'm happy with it. For people that are handicapped or that have arthritis that can't sit there and shake a bottle too long, it does what it says. It mixes up your juice. But for the $120 price tag, being that we're DIY, there's a lot of DIY, places out there, YouTube videos that you can actually make your own. I've seen it done. But one of the main reasons why I got it was for the hot plate function. I'm sure that if you got really involved in DIY, you could probably put a hot plate function on there. But I don't have the time. I've been putting it off for a long time. I know when it first came out, before it even hit the market, they were doing pre-orders on it. I'm like, I'm going to order this son of a bitch. I put it off for a long time, and I decided to bite the bullet and get it, and I paid the $120. A little pricey, but like I said, we'll get to this thing, in a couple weeks. But moving on, we're going to get into a juice that is from Mikey Likes It. He pops in and out of our Discord all the time. Nice guy. Newer mixer, right, Folk Art? You said he was a newer mixer?
Yeah, fairly new to it. I don't know exactly how long, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he had it was a pumpkin. I guess he's doing a rendition of his pumpkin.
Yep.
Is it a pie or what is it here?
It's a creamy pumpkin pie.
Okay.
By
yeah,
Mikey Likes It.
Yeah. So looking at the recipe, well, I've seen a lot of recipes from Mikey Likes It. He showed us a lot of his recipes, and I think this is one of the recipes that pretty accurate as far as his flavor picks and everything like that, just by looking at it.
Yeah.
Just by looking at it. Now this is just my first. I didn't vape it yet, so I don't know. My first thing, just looking at it, is I'm just nervous about all the creams that are in there. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Well, any time that you use flavorings that are kind of similar, and when they're all added up, they're pretty high percentages. You do run the risk of over flavoring or muting. But you just have to mix it up and see.
Yeah. Now I haven't. I see he used a couple Wonder flavors here. He used butter pecan pie. Now, unfortunately, this was kind of not last minute, but I wish Mikey would have been on here so he could discuss his recipe. I could see where he was using a cinnamon pastry to get that cinnamon aspect. Butter pecan pie, I don't know. I flavor tested it. Wasn't a bad flavor. You did flavor test the butter pecan pie, right, Folk Art?
Yes, I did.
You actually used it, didn't you?
I did. In let's see, what did I use that in?
That was your pecan pie, or no? Am I wrong?
No. Well, I did my first version. I think I used Flavor West butter pecan in my pecan pie.
That's what it was.
Yeah, but I have used the butter pecan Wonder flavors in a new pecan pie that I'm trying to come up with, okay. And it works. It actually works pretty good. The one thing that I do like about it is that with the Flavor West butter pecan, you get a lot of that inner shell that surrounds the nut part. That's kind of bitter. You can kind of taste that in the Flavor West butter pecan. But with the Wonder flavors, you don't really get that, and you also get some of the crust in the butter pecan from Flavor West. I'm sorry, from Wonder flavors. It's a really good. The only thing is you have to use at pretty high percentages to really get that butter pecan flavor to come through. I think I used it around 4%. With him using this at 0.55, he's not trying to make a butter pecan pie. He's just probably wanting to add that bit of pecan flavor to the top of that pumpkin pie,
okay.
which I can see that working.
Okay.
Now I don't know what he didn't have any flavor notes on this recipe, so I'm just going on by what I see.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, it looks pretty decent. I really didn't want to release my pumpkin pie because there's not too many. I have yet to receive the HS pumpkin. Hopefully it'll be in soon. I have yet to receive that in. But a lot of the pumpkins that I've worked with, I find them difficult. And he used it at 0.5, which isn't too high.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that he used that as a accent. I'm just wanting to know how the crust is going to be in this. That's all. But with the graham cracker at 2%, so I'm assuming he was going for a graham cracker crust.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Yeah. The malted milk. I'm not that familiar with malted milk. Does it have a type of a bakery type flavor to it as well?
Not really. What I get from malted milk is I get like think of like a Whopper almost.
Yeah.
Like you kind of like that dry dairy type note from
Yeah.
it. The flavor testings that I have done with it, I've made a Whopper recipe with it. Months back, or if not last year or whatever.
And you're
It has
talking
its
about the malted milk balls.
yeah. Malta,
Honest,
I never released it, but
honestly, it's a flavor that I don't use for
malted milk.
yeah,
Yeah,
for a long time.
yeah, that's me
I
too.
used it. I used it in my first days of
Correct.
do it yourself.
Yeah,
Not used it for a long time.
I was actually going to say the same thing, and that's what me and Folkward actually talked about this earlier today when we were looking over the recipe here. That was one thing that malted milk. I used that in the early days, like 3 years ago when I first started mixing with the malted milk, because I feel that you can, recreate that with other concentrates or whatever. I mean, but like I said, I don't know what the reason he used it. Like I said, I wish he was here to give me some pointers on why I used it and what the
Yeah, I was
hell.
I was hoping he would be in the chat.
Whipped cream. I did forget my whipped cream, but I'm going to grab it in like 2 seconds here. I don't know why I forgot it. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to throw the pumpkin in here and then get the whipped cream, and I'll be right back.
David, while you're doing that, you were talking about your stir.
Yes.
I was thinking this week I need something. I do a lot of flavor testing, and I mix everything up in like 10 milliliter little bottles for my flavors. And I've got a lot of flavors, and every time I do that, I'm shaking it for like 200 different flavorings. And I thought I need something that'll shake those little bottles up. And I came across this little device, and I'm not sure if it would work or not. I don't know if it would be. It's not that expensive, but I thought about giving it a try. It's called the Robart paint mixer. It's for mixing up little bottles of like model paint.
Yeah, for like hobby.
Yeah, like model car paints and craft paints. And it seems I saw a video on it. It seems to work pretty well for paint. So I would assume that it would work pretty good with juices and stuff, because paints are pretty thick, and all you do is you just strap it on, and it just just shakes it like that. But it's really loud. I heard that it was really, really loud, which I don't care if it's loud or not. But I thought about giving that a try. Now for bigger mixes, the stir I think would work really well. But just for smaller little 10 milliliters or 30 milliliter bottles, I thought that might save my wrist just a little bit.
Can the speed of that machine be adjusted?
Not on that particular one, I don't think. You just basically hit the button, and it says that you.
I saw the video.
Yeah. So
I saw the video that you posted.
Yeah. So it says that you only want to run it for like 30 seconds at a time. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
What was the price on that again?
I think it was like $42 or something. Now you can get some cheaper models. It's not the Robart, but if you go on eBay, if you search for nail polish shakers.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. So you can get one for around anywhere from like $20 up to $40, but they all come from China, so I don't know what kind of quality they are. I also was talking to Fear about that particular paint shaker, the Robart, and he's went through about 3 or 4 of them. He says they wear out pretty easily.
Okay,
but I don't know. I thought about giving it a try.
So for the price though, and the wear that goes through it, Do you think it's worth it, or are you going to order? Or did you order one? Or
No, I'm going to order one and just try it out, and I can do a review on it or whatever later.
You know that you can use the stirrer to mix small bottles too, right?
Yes. The only
Mag Star or the one Folkart's talking about?
Sorry?
You talking about the magnetic star, or are you talking about the one Folkart's talking
The
about?
magnetic.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm trying to cut out is the cleanup, and if I'm mixing up e-liquid, that's one thing. But if I'm mixing up, say I want to do 5 different flavorings in a day, I guess if you mix those bottles up in your plastic bottles, I guess that would be okay. But a little 10 ml bottle, there's not much room for that little peel to go in.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was saying that I'm going to do a little bit more testing. I don't know what the sizes are that you're going to get. Like if you buy that like 8-pack from Amazon, that's one of the things that I want to see for the $8. I want to see what sizes they come with. I don't think that they're going to get any smaller than that pill size. Now, when I say pill size, like if you was to think of a Tylenol, like a 500 milligram Tylenol, that would probably be the size of the pill-shaped one, but it has like a rim around it. It's about that size. The pill-shaped one's a little bit bigger, or the football-shaped one's a little bit bigger. It's kind of like if you was to take those gel cap Advils or like a multivitamin gel cap, it's about that size. And then the rod that they give you, it's probably about, I'd say about an inch, just by looking at it from here. It's about an inch long. Like I said, I wish there was a little bit more variety of stir bars that they give you, because honestly, I think that that's probably one of the cheaper parts in the stirrer.
Yeah.
I felt they could have gave you a little bit more variety on those.
With the shaker that I was talking about, I was thinking more of that there wouldn't be any cleanup involved.
Yeah, that's an advantage.
Yeah.
What do you mean cleanup? Like, what do you mean? I don't.
Well,
with the magnetic stirrer, the only thing you have to clean up are the magnetic bars.
That's what I'm saying. You just rinse it under the water.
Yeah, that's true. If you could find a small enough pill to go in those small bottles, if you don't, then you have to use either a glass container or something, and you'd have to clean that, and you have to clean the litil peel and stuff. I'm just trying to kind of speed things up a little bit.
Correct. I mean, like for me personally, I do use 10 ml bottles. I got a gross of them, so I got like 1,000 of them laying around, so I use them up for my single flavor testing. But for a lot of the new mixers out there, a cheap solution, well, you ain't gonna probably get into like in-depth flavor testing like until later on in your mixing venture. But I go to Walmart and I buy those little, like those things that people do Jello shots in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let me go grab one. Like one of these. Like, and I'll even do test recipes in these things because they come with lids. They're like 2 ounces, so you can hold almost 20 mils in them.
Yeah.
And they're wide, so it's quick. You don't have to steady your hand if you're mixing by weight. You just slap it in that little 2 ounce plastic container, and it's actually I don't know what it is. If it's PET or it says PP on the bottom, whatever that is. It's 2 ounce. Comes with lids. I think it's like $3. You get like 100 or 200 of them. They're disposable. I do a lot of single flavor testing. Now, if you want to use the magnetic stirrer for that, I mean, like, but then again, like I said, if you're handicapped or you got arthritis and you can't sit there and shake the bottle, without using the heat function, because that's one of the things. You don't want to really use like a plastic bottle in the heat function on a magnetic stirrer, but if you're just using,
if you go till 30 degrees Celsius,
it'll melt the shit out of it. So
30 degrees, it's no problem.
Well, I'm just saying it. 100 Celsius.
No, 30.
Yes, yeah, but who wants to take the chance? I'm not going to take that chance of hitting that 30 Celsius, and taking a chance of that bonding and that plastic breaking down and getting that chemical from the plastic into my juice I'm not doing that.
Well, I honestly, I never heat up my juice. Never.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying for people that, I mean, if you're gonna, like, because Folk Art said with trying to get that little thing out of there, if you wanted to use, like, you know, these little 2-ounce Jello shot cups to do, if you don't have access or if you don't want to spend the money, you can go to Walmart and get, I don't know, a couple hundred or whatever. So I'm smelling this juice right now. I'm hardly getting any pumpkin at all from it.
What was the popping percentage?
0.5. When I used it for my pumpkin, I think I used it at, what did I use it at? I think it was 0.75. But I also incorporated real flavors, I think at 2.5%. Real flavors pumpkin pie.
Yep. I think Mikey likes it is in the chat. I think that's Michael Katz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I hope I didn't just dry burn my cotton on here, but
so now you can't say that the juice is crap. You have to say it's good.
I bet I'll change my cotton. I know we're at 5:32. We started a couple minutes late, so we're on schedule. We're almost done here, guys.
yeah.
I can smell that Wonder flavors in there, though, boy. Just by the smell, just the waft, the waft. Yeah, I can smell the Wonder flavors concentrate. Something about. I mean, I like Wonder flavors. They have their use. I feel a lot of their flavors are sweet to me, but they have their use. They're not as hard as real flavors to work with. I think real flavors are kind of hard to work with. And it could be because of the alcohol that Wonder, or not Wonder. I'm sorry, Frank. I don't think I said alcohol in your flavors, but real flavors. They put alcohol in their flavors. So that might be what it is.
Chun 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 chun.
It's not bad.
So, do you get a creamy pumpkin?
I get cream.
Yeah.
I get crust, but I'm lacking pumpkin. But I know me and Mikey probably went back and forth on Capella's pumpkin pie spice in a Discord.
Yeah.
He said that I can't remember the exact. Maybe if he could put it in the chat. He said it if he uses it over, I want to say like maybe 1%. I think he said maybe in the Discord that it's disgusting. I can't remember his exact terms that he said. I know you said it tastes like wood or something.
I single flavor test it at 1%, and it tastes like a pine tree root to me.
Yes,
those were the words.
it's good. Like I will give him 2 thumbs up on the crust. The crust is there. Yep. The cinnamon, the cream is there. I'm sure it needs to steep because you got like 3 creams in there. I can't remember looking at it. You got 3 creams in there, and the Wonder flavors and that. But the crust, the sweetness, the crust, and the cinnamon's there. I'm lacking on the spice. For me, I mean, it's good. It's very, 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 very faint. And that's one of the and that's why I got so in depth with the when I did my pumpkin pie. I mean, you can either have it faint or you can have it in your face. I think his rendition of this is he wanted it to have it at like the bottom end. I mean, I do taste it like in the body, but the spices, the cinnamon's more dominant than say the nutmeg and allspice and stuff that's in this recipe. Now, granted, I didn't taste Folk Art's recipe yet because I don't have the HS. I've heard that it's pretty spot on pumpkin pie. I haven't tried it yet.
Well, it's actually not spot on pumpkin pie. It's spot
Or
on
I'm sorry,
pumpkin. Just straight up pumpkin.
pumpkin.
There's no spice. There's no nothing. It's just
See,
like a
that's
canned
the thing.
pumpkin.
Like for me, when I think pumpkin pie, and I think Thanksgiving, for instance, the U.S. holiday, I think of the spices that are in the pie because, like I said, to me, I don't get a flavor. Like if I was to go carve a pumpkin right now, take a chunk of the pumpkin out there, or open a can of Libby's pumpkin, like raw pumpkin, it's a gourd. Like I get nothing. I get like a plain, just go like I get like hardly any taste to it except maybe like a bitterness. It could be just my palate. But like for me, a pumpkin pie, I get those spices. That's what brings me back to a piece of pumpkin pie during Thanksgiving. It's those spices that are in a pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to capture. But he might not have been trying to capture that, which is fine. I think the spices in it should be a little bit more dominant. But I do taste the cinnamon. I do taste the sweetness. The crust, I think, is really good. For me, it just needs a little bit more pumpkin. If it had a little bit more like spice, I would say, like a little bit more nutmeg, a little bit more of the, what are they, allspice, whatever the hell they put in pumpkin. Like,
yeah,
it would be, for me, it would be perfect. Like, you know what I mean? But like, let me try to put it this way. Like, as far as like, when you're trying to recreate something like this, like a pumpkin pie, like I feel that this is a hard recipe to recreate for me. It is. And to do that, I feel that it has to be bold. It's not going to be like you're eating a piece of pumpkin pie. So you're going to have that kind of artificial, in your face spice. That's why I did my pie the way I did.
Right.
You did your pie the way you wanted it, but that was like, it's like one of those things in your mind. Like when you smell a certain scent in life, like when you're walking down the street and you smell cypress, or you smell pine, or you smell whatever, or like a fire, like if you smell like wood burning, it reminds you of a campfire or something when you're sitting out with your buddies, like in the summertime, having a couple beers, you smell like campfire, or you're roasting marshmallows, or you're doing this. Like when I create a recipe, I try to pick out those bold notes that bring you back to that certain point in your life. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that was my rendition of a pumpkin pie. It has to be heavy on the spice, because those spices are what brings me back to a piece of pumpkin pie when I'm eating it at Thanksgiving dinner, or whatever, like, or any holiday or whatever you're making pie, or in the fall or whatever. But as far as the recipe, it's good. I like it. Creams are there. I was a little bit nervous on the 3 creams that he had in there. I'm going to let it steep by a little bit, though. I don't know if that malted milk's going to kind of take over, but we'll find out with that. The vanilla is probably going to come a little bit more. But the crust is there. It's good. The pumpkin's faint. I wish it was a little bit higher for me. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's a decent recipe. Good job, Mikey. Good. I enjoyed it. I'll vape it. You know what I mean? I'll probably finish this 30 ml bottle off. I'll leave. He didn't release it yet, you said?
It's actually released on ELR.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it is.
I don't use ELR too much, but I'll leave a rating on ELR for you, Mikey. I know there's a couple reviews that I got to type up. I apologize for you guys that I mix up your recipe. Like I said, I'm just so freaking busy. I'm lucky I have a chance to do flavor testing. It's pretty good. But real quick, guys, before we get out of here, I want to thank everybody that watched today. Make sure you guys check out Liquid Barn at www.liquidbarn.com. Use code MIXERS Crew and get 15% off your total order. Head over to Bull City Vapors, it used to be Bull City Vapors, Bull City Flavors, and use code DM6 and get 6% off your total order. You get lightning fast shipping. Stay tuned in the next couple weeks. Like I said, I will do a full review on the Nicor mixer. As of right now, like I said, a little bit overpriced, but if you think about it, if you're going to buy one for like a lab use or something like that, I mean, those things can cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I want to thank Mikey for letting us mix his recipe today. I want to thank Mikey for, sorry, I just got a message on my computer screen. I want to thank Mikey for letting us mix his recipe today. you guys out there with Vapor's Tongue, you know, try out Folk Art's recipe. It's posted up there on ATF. Other than that, that's all I got for you. Got for you today, guys. Anything else from you guys today before we leave?
I think that's it. Just guys, keep sending us those recipes. I'll post up a link in the chat here for the recipes, and we'll try to get your recipes mixed and reviewed, and so yeah.
Oh, that's real quick before we make sure you subscribe to our channel if you like what we're doing. Hit a like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, check us out on Facebook. Like I said, we're always in the Discord. So for you new mixers out there, if you have any questions, make sure you check us out in the Discord. Not just us, but I tell you what, we got some real good experienced mixers in there, man, and they can help you out with any questions that you have. We're going to try to do some small short videos on Facebook Live and YouTube for your new mixers out there. Other than that, you guys have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you, Lewis.
See you. See you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Chuki beat.